This is the flexibility that we have.
Okay.
Okay. Hello, everyone. This is Go with WP webinar series for WordCamp Asia 2025. Every week, we are talking with different people. Some of them are speakers, some of them are organizer, speaker as well, and also from representative from different companies. So we always try to support the open source project WordPress. And today we are with Miriam. So she is head of WordPress relationship at Elementor. So I would like to request her to introduce herself. And I'm a bit curious about the title that you have in the Elementor. So what's your responsibility? So because this is a new term for me as well. Yeah.
Yeah, my title is a bit strange. That's always what I say about it because it's
Uh,
quite unique and
yeah.
it doesn't, yeah. So I'll tell you a bit about myself. My name is Miriam Schwab and I've been in the WordPress space for like over 18 years. Yeah. I started using WordPress after one of my kids was born and I wanted to become more independent professionally, just
Mm,
because, it's hard to have a 9 to 5 job when you have a bunch of small kids.
mm,
So I started to explore different options. I was always interested in technology, and I had started to offer copywriting services to companies, like
mm,
to help them with content that they needed for marketing. And a lot of that content was going into websites. And
mm.
I realized that the websites interested me more than the content that I was writing. And so I started to teach myself how to build websites. I had how to do that. And I started building like HTML, CSS types of websites. And
Mm,
then I was like, okay, we need a content management system here so that my clients don't have to come to me every time they want to add like a word,
mm,
which is really annoying
mm,
for everyone. And I explored and I was like, okay, open source speaks to me more.
mm.
And at the time and today, the leading open source CMSs were WordPress, Joomla, and Drupal.
Yeah.
And I just really liked WordPress. I liked the way it was structured. I liked the way you build websites with it, the theming, the plugins. And as I started to build with it, I discovered the community, which is fantastic and friendly and helpful.
Yeah.
Um, you know, broadened my horizons. I got to connect with people from all around the world. So
Mm,
anyways, I that evolved into an agency. So I founded and managed a WordPress development agency for like 13 years,
mm,
which was great because it enabled me to like build my family, be there for my kids when like I needed to, while also progressing professionally. And then I had all these product ideas throughout the years, but it's hard to run an agency, be a parent, and then also maybe work
mm,
on a product. Like that was too much for
mm.
me. But I have 7 kids. So when my youngest was 3, I came up with this idea for static hosting and publishing for WordPress,
Mm.
based on the trend of Jamstack at the time. I don't know if you remember that or are familiar with that. And I was like, okay, I think this is like actually an idea I should work on and try to focus on. And also, I don't have a baby anymore, and like maybe this is the time. So I started
Oh,
working on it. I sold the agency, and
yeah. I think you had another baby as well. I think you left that and joined the element, right?
yeah, so I founded the startup called
Uh,
Strattic,
uh.
raised funding, built the team. Our
Can you
CTO,
can you tell about that company, like how it? So I checked that website as well. It was redirected to Elementor, I
yeah,
guess.
Elementor.
So I just want to know how what it was and like how it was like doing at that time.
Yeah, we called it Strattic.
Mm,
Um, and Strattic because like the word static is in there, and also strata, which means like layers, because the
mm,
way we built up the platform is you have layers of your website. You have
mm,
the
mm,
original WordPress site, which is like hidden from the internet, actually. Only
mm,
people permission can access it, but you can use it as usual. And then you click a button, and that generates a static version of the site. Static meaning the functionality is still there. It still looks and acts the same, but it's architecturally, it's just static files. So HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, which I mentioned, right?
mm,
It's like going full circle in a way. But once the site is deployed in that way, it's like incredibly resilient,
mm,
basically nothing to breach or hack. It scales like effortlessly. So, and then on top, and then the third layer was CDN. So all of our platform was built out on Amazon Web Services, AWS.
Mm, mm,
So we use their CDN CloudFront, although as we progressed, customers were asking to hook in different CDNs like Cloudflare, and so we enabled that as well. So you have like three layers of your website, and the one that the people are visiting is just super fast and resilient. So that's Strattic, and we raised funding from investors to power our growth and development. We had a
yeah.
great team. Our CTO
Mm.
was the co-creator of PHP, actually.
Oh, oh,
Yeah.
nice.
So, he's like key to the internet in general, and WordPress is actually the biggest user of PHP. So,
Mm, exactly.
he really,
Mm,
like what we were doing really resonated with him, and he identified with it. So we did that for like 6 years.
mm.
And then Elementor, I, so Elementor is actually an
Was
Israeli
there?
company.
Elementor was there, right?
So Elementor, we were supporting Elementor in Strattic,
Mm,
meaning we made sure that Elementor users could use Strattic as well.
mm,
Uh, we just had a lot of demand for it.
mm.
Interestingly, we didn't think that that would be the case because most of our customers were kind of like mid-level or large enterprise companies
Oh, nice.
because
Yeah.
they were looking for a type of solution.
Mm,
And you would think that Elementor isn't used by those types of companies. Well, it turns out
mm.
that it is. And they wanted us to support it. So we built that support. So I was like in touch with the Elementor team, not just me, we were on an
Mm,
ongoing basis to, sometimes we needed their input on things.
mm.
And also, I've known the founders of Elementor for a long time.
Oh,
Uh, I organized 5 WordCamps in Israel.
oh,
And
nice.
the founders of Elementor are also from Israel, and they
Yeah.
were like some of my first sponsors for
Mm.
WordCamps.
Oh, oh.
Before it was Elementor, Elementor used to be, well, the first version of it, or like that they came up with was something called
Mm,
Pojo,
mm.
and then it developed into Elementor. I have a great picture of the three co-founders like standing behind this very simple table at one of our WordCamps. Now if you see us at WordCamps, Elementor,
Yeah.
we're like this
It,
big pink booth, but it was just like a
it,
table. It was great. Anyways, so I knew them all those
mm,
years, and then at some point they reached out to discuss acquiring Strattic, and it was a good
mm.
fit. So Elementor acquired
So
Strattic.
Elementor acquired your company and then
Yes.
you are in the Elementor. Oh,
And so they acquired the company, like the most of the team joined Elementor,
mm,
and they took the static hosting and they started to call it Elementor static hosting, whatever.
mm,
It went on its own journey. But like 6 months after they acquired Strattic, about 6 months, the founders asked me if I wanted to take on a new role
mm,
for Elementor,
mm.
which is head of WordPress Relations, which
Oh.
is what you asked me about. That was a long explanation of where I'm at.
But it was really good to listen because sometimes like we always know the person, but we never know like the background they deal with from where they are in the industry. So you are like head WordPress relationship in Elementor. So someone might think that she's in that position, but they never know like how many steps she had to deal with before.
That's true.
Okay, yeah. So I know how a WordPress website entire the web development, how the complex was before introducing of the page builder. So before Elementor, there were some page builder, but that were not much flexible. So I always looking for because so as a developer, when we have to make an entire new pages, at that time we need to do at that time like Photoshop and then HTML, CSS, and then we need to build all the like backend sections and just pull the data on the template and make it visible. But after the Elementor, so wherever you would like to change, just click it and change it. What you say,
Right.
you can simply edit it. So what do you think that how like page builders change the web development, like how they are making the web development easier from your perspective?
So page builders came about because they make sense in terms of the evolution of how people build websites or just generally interact with web
Mm,
technologies. Like I'm going to include like Facebook and Instagram with that, which is WordPress was created to democratize publishing, right? That's in
mm,
its mission, which means
mm,
that anyone should be able to get their voice and words onto the web and
mm.
accessible to everyone.
Yeah.
And WordPress was revolutionary, but in doing that, because
mm,
if you remember in the early days, the one of the big selling points was the
mm,
five-step install,
yeah,
right, installation process,
mm,
which was way simpler than
mm,
anything else out there. And then, of
yeah,
course, hosting companies started to have like Softaculous, I can't remember the other one, where you just click and you have it installed,
yeah,
which made it even easier to get up and running with a WordPress site.
mm,
And then, of course, the editor at the time, even
mm,
though the classic editor now is like looks old school, it was also revolutionary because if
yeah.
you can use Word, you can write your content and
But still
publish
people
it.
love the classic editor.
What?
But still user love the classic editor.
Yeah, yeah, because it just does the job. Like people don't necessarily want more complication, not complication, maybe more features, let's say, which
Mm,
often more features that leads to more
mm,
complication. So they still love it.
mm,
So but at the time, especially, it was revolutionary. So then, okay, we're democratizing publishing. What's the next
mm.
step?
Yeah,
Let's
that's good.
democratize how your website looks, like
Mm,
what you can do with it, right? Like
mm,
you maybe allow people to build out their page without
mm,
needing a professional like me and my
mm,
agency or other developers, right? And so the page builders came about. I
yeah,
think the most popular one at the time was Visual Bakery. And then, of course, we have Beaver Builder and Divi, and these are all amazing products.
mm,
And Elementor, I don't know exactly what the timeline is there, but Elementor launched and became extremely popular very quickly because it, in my opinion, took democratizing publishing to the next level,
mm,
which is not only can you get a word there, but you can style your words, and it gives you much more power.
yeah,
So I think it's like a natural evolution. It makes sense. And I love being at conferences and meeting Elementor users who are so enthusiastic because they see Elementor as their power tool.
mm,
It enables them to do these things quickly, smoothly, easily, when in the past, like you said, we'd have to we built our sites in my agency using a lot of advanced custom fields type of thing, right? And that was like amazing. But
yeah.
now you just stick stuff on a page and it's
You know,
there.
so it's always like happy to make the custom field if those data are really changing regularly. But what we have to do is like we just need to make that page dynamic. So we make the dynamic with ACF fields and other stuffs. And after a couple of months, client will come back again and say that, hey, I would like to change the phone number. And what is the motto of like giving those fields? And they say that I always afraid to log in the website because it might get crashed. So when the problems comes in, then the solution comes in. That is how Elementor come into the plate. So we all looking for that type of solution. Uh, and then Elementor comes in, become the most popular page builder in the industry. So I think it's 18 million active installed at the moment, if I'm not wrong. So,
Yeah, yeah.
uh,
Over.
so uh, I can say the most popular WordPress plugin because there is no any fixed data from other, but one of the most popular,
Well,
I would say.
if you go into the WordPress admin and you go to the plugins area, there's like tabs at the top
Yeah,
and popular.
yeah,
As far as I know, the popular tab is based on actual numbers that none of us have access to, but they exist. And
mm.
Elementor is the first one listed there. It's in order of popularity. So I think we can say it is the first listed plugin in
Yeah,
popular
yeah, yeah,
tab
yeah,
in the
exactly.
repo.
So I can talk about this like active install things offline, probably in WordCamp Asia. So how it works. I also have some site of idea on this, so we can talk this later as well. So being one of the most popular WordPress plugin, like being the leader of the web development in a sense of open source, I think WordPress is sustainable and should be sustainable because Elementor is completely based in the WordPress. So to make WordPress sustainable, what are the things that a company like Elementor and like other popular brands, still the smaller companies are also contributing, but what are the roles that Elementor, the bigger company, have to make WordPress successful and make web available for everyone?
So I think there's a few things that companies like Elementor does and other
Mm, mm,
companies also do or can do to
mm,
contribute
mm,
to the sustainability and future of WordPress. So first of
mm,
all, offering a free version of your plugin that is
mm,
very robust and feature
mm,
rich. We
mm,
know that the vast majority of our active installs are using the free plugin and they're doing
mm,
fine with it and they'll never upgrade. And
Mm.
that is very appealing. It
Yeah.
makes WordPress accessible
Yeah.
to many people to get up and running with a beautiful website, ideally,
Mm. Mm.
easily and for free. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
that's a great starting point. So,
Mm.
so I think that's one thing.
Mm.
And we see that model a lot in
Mm.
WordPress, that there's
Yeah.
a free version of the plugin, Yoast SEO.
Mm.
Also, same story. The vast majority of
Mm.
their users are free, and they always made sure that their free version was very robust.
Mm.
It also creates good faith, I think, by
Mm.
offering that, because you are investing in the free users, and then when it's relevant to them, they feel confident and grateful. And I think that impacts their journey to
Yeah.
becoming, let's say, upgraded
Yeah. Yeah.
customers.
Premium model something. Yeah.
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 Then the other angle, of course, is contributing to WordPress,
Mm.
the project, in
Yeah.
various ways through the Five
Mm.
for the Future program.
Mm.
So we contribute to the plugin review team,
Mm.
the performance team,
Mm.
and now the
Mm.
theme review team.
Yeah.
And we're very happy to be able to do that. All contributions to WordPress are important, in my opinion. And so, we're happy to cover those three areas, and hopefully also expand our contribution to different areas this year. So and I think we saw recently also GoDaddy like ramped up their contribution, right?
Mm.
They announced
Mm.
that,
Mm.
and we should see more of that. But I think companies in general are pretty good about contributing to WordPress. But of course, we all can do more. So I think those
Yeah.
two angles contribute a lot.
Yeah.
Oh,
So,
actually, I'll add one more thing:
yeah.
sharing knowledge. Throughout my career, I've
Mm.
spoken at a lot of WordCamps
Mm.
and other conferences, and what inspired me to do that was that I saw that others in the community are always sharing their knowledge,
Mm.
and for free, right? Like, just put it out there, because I was able to build my career because of the knowledge and information that people shared. So I wanted to do that as well. So the
Mm.
more we share information, tips,
Mm.
ideas, help each other
Mm.
out, people often will like get in touch with me and say, "Can I just run an idea by you?" And we'll like set up a quick video call. And I'm really happy to do that with people in the
Oh, nice.
community. I would love to see the innovation, and I want to support it. And I think if we all do that, we'll see more innovation and more sustainability.
Yeah, exactly. So, uh, I think from 2023 November, I was in WordCamp Mumbai in India. So I choose a topic, benefits of contributing to WordPress project. As I was the sponsored contributor from RankMath, so I know what are the benefits that I am getting at the moment, and what are the benefits the open source project, especially WordPress, is getting from me. So I talk about this like benefits of contributing to WordPress in many WordCamps, and I see that how people are really passionate about contributing to the project. But there are two types of contribution. One is simple contribution, and one is meaningful and impactful contribution. These days, personally, like I'm not able to change the entire path, but I'm just advocating that at least contribution should be sustainable and meaningful. So the contribution that we are giving to the WordPress ecosystem, let's not contribute just for contribution. Let's contribute in a way that the project should be sustainable, and the project should always move forward. And if the project move forward, then the future of the products that depend on the WordPress ecosystem will have like longer lifespan. And so I talk with so many people. Some of them are really passionate about contributing. Some of them are really passionate about getting badges in their WordPress profile, but that is also good. So if someone love to have the badges, then that is free, then we can easily assign to them. But really that type of contribution taking WordPress to the next level, I always like that always stuck in my mind. I started contributing to WordPress from 2012, and I'm still contributing till now. So I joined the Miriam team in 2015. I'm still in the same team. So I feel proud myself that I am one of the popular name that is contributing to the WordPress in a sustainable way. So
Yeah.
so the thing is that I review like 6,300 plus something themes in WordPress ecosystem only. It means that I'm doing something great in the contribution. So I always look forward for the meaningful and sustainable contribution. Those who there are so many people. They will join the contributors day in WordCamps, learn how to contribute, but they never go back again, and they will come again in another WordCamp, and so that is also fine. So I think what I want to propose is that the company like Elementor should support like meaningful and sustainable contribution. So while we have a meeting with like community people, I always say that I recently introduced a new term like WordPress injection. So we need to provide the WordPress injection to the new people, to the younger people. Probably we try to have like teach WordPress to school, provide probably teach WordPress to college student as well. So if we are able to inject injection in their arm about WordPress, then the sustainability of WordPress will be bigger. So I think in that way as well. So the company like the bigger company at least can play that role. And we also introduce like WordPress events as well from the WordPress community as well. So I think that is how we can make WordPress to the next level. So in that type of contribution can also add value to the ecosystem. That is what I would like to say. Okay, but there are some of the companies, some of the companies really like getting a lot from the WordPress ecosystem, but they are actually not like contributing to the project. What you would like to say to them? Like how you can encourage them to contribute to the project?
So it depends on the company. I know, having like run an agency, that if you're like a smaller business, it's very, very hard to find the resources to contribute.
Mm,
So at least find a way that works for you. So when I was managing my agency, the way that I contributed was by organizing WordCamps and by speaking
mm,
wherever I could and
mm,
sharing my knowledge,
mm,
because that's what I was capable of at the time.
mm,
In terms of me and my team, that was what we could do. So find something, like if you're smaller, that is some kind of contribution. I agree that contributions should be meaningful.
mm,
Um, but first of all, it's not always possible for people to do that. And also start somewhere. Because also
mm,
I think when you start somewhere, then you start to see how actually even small things are impactful. And then maybe it gives you an appetite for doing something that's more significant. So that's with regards to that. With regards to larger organizations that are benefiting from WordPress, I highly, highly encourage them to set up a Five for the Future program.
mm,
That also can be complicated. I went through the process for Elementor after I took on the role as head of WordPress Relations. That was one of my first projects or goals,
mm,
was to set up our Five for the Future program. And it was actually not easy, not because we didn't have the resources, but because of the following.
mm,
We had to decide whether we were going to allocate internal resources or sponsor external people to contribute.
mm,
Particularly due to the situation at the time in Elementor, we decided we were going to sponsor external people.
mm.
Finding external people to sponsor is actually not easy. I
I
had
know that. I
so
know that.
many calls with so
Mm,
many people and
mm,
interviews
mm,
and research
mm,
and trying to find teams that also like um, are meaningful to me
yeah.
personally. I mean,
Yeah.
I
Exactly.
always roll that in, but also to
Mm,
Elementor and to the project
mm,
like that we're excited to sponsor. It was
mm.
very, very hard.
Yeah.
So, I know that there's efforts that are always being made to try to improve that, and people from the WordPress community team were helpful, and they would like try sending people to talk to, but it wasn't easy at all.
Mm, mm, mm,
So just be aware that if you're going to start that process to try to figure out how to contribute, I actually just consulted to quite a large hosting company in the space
mm,
who has
mm,
decided to start to contribute, and I was so
mm.
excited. But like I
Oh,
told them, be ready for that. Also, when you're a large organization, you're bureaucratic, right?
yeah.
So that also need, you need proper invoices, proper contracts, and all that kind of stuff. You can't just throw money at stuff. Um, so it wasn't easy, but it's a process that's worth doing. So we started with one contribution. Our first one was to the performance team, and then we expanded to plugin and now themes. I'm always keeping my eyes open to people who are looking for contribution. It's seriously not easy,
Mm, mm.
unfortunately.
Yeah. I can understand like how complicated is that as well. That is why I mean to say that you can probably find the contributors, but not the sustainable or meaningful contribution that the person is making to the ecosystem. Okay, so let's come to the topic that we are going to talk about in WordCamp Asia, GPL,
Yeah.
right? So what GPL actually means, because like couple of like last year or something, there was a product that is totally copied from another product, and they submit it, and we say that this product is copied from some another product, and that product got suspended, and the product owner was saying that is WordPress is GPL, why we can't use the copy the code. So how we can deal with that situation, like what GPL actually means in open source?
That is an excellent question. It means like a lot of things, but it also has a lot of lack of clarity.
Mm,
Not a lot, but there are like gray lines around GPL.
mm,
I think that's probably like a lot of things just in life where, you try to define it as clearly as possible, but then like, first of all, WordPress is over 20 years old, right? So
mm,
things have changed on the internet,
mm,
technology,
yeah.
everything. More use cases, more learnings around how GPL can be applied or should be applied.
Mm,
Um, and GPL, the license, predated WordPress. So it was created in an
mm,
era that was
yeah.
very different.
Yeah.
So GPL is, on the one hand, I think it was the accelerant and the force behind, or
Mm,
one of the things that led
mm,
to WordPress's growth, um, because it's a very free license in many
mm,
ways. On the other hand, it might have held back a lot of people from innovating in the WordPress space because the minute you've created something that innovates WordPress, that code it's like a contagious license. That code must be GPL, and
mm,
that isn't so comfortable for everyone. With regards to what it allows a lot.
mm,
And I think it depends. So that person who copied the code is right,
mm,
as far as I understand, right? I'm not a lawyer, so
mm,
I know what I know, and I consult with legal people about it.
mm,
But even lawyers aren't 100% clear on what
yeah.
everything means,
Yeah.
and they disagree with each other.
Mm,
So that person is right, but if they're trying to put a plugin into the WordPress plugin
register.
repo, I think the plugin repo can make decisions about how far they allow this GPL to go within the confines of the repo. That person who copied the plugin can totally put it somewhere, right?
Mm,
Which
yeah.
happens, right? We all know that there's these GPL marketplaces. People make Elementor Pro available, who knows where, and people can download it, and it's
Yeah.
GPL, and that's just how it is.
Mm,
But should that go into the repo?
mm,
That's another question.
yeah.
Yes, no, I think that's up to the people who are like making there's all sorts of regulations around the repo, right? Um, so not like it's not black and white. That decision sounds right because we also want to respect the innovation of people. And if someone, we all know working on a plugin, especially as it grows and has more features, it's like a huge investment of time and effort. And then they're in the repo, and then some other person just straight up copies it, adds no additional value.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I mean, that probably is the right decision not to allow them to do that. Go put your plugin somewhere else. But these are
Yeah.
decisions made by the
Yeah.
community.
Yeah, in the theme stream, we also have like a statement in our requirement that the design and code must be legally yours, even if that is GPL, you know? For example, we have a function in WordPress, like for example, the title. So that can be reused in your theme, that can be reused in your plugin, but you can easily fork someone else's property because the code is a property. So you can easily fork like Elementor and make it like Delimenter something because that Elementor is some else property. But you can get some like a snippet of code, you can reuse that code, you can write the code in your own way that is acceptable, at least it is from my perspective. So you can easily fork someone else like code, and still the files name are same, still the functions name are same, still the line of codes are same. That doesn't like sound GPL to me, to be honest.
I agree. Also, there is something that's pretty clear in the world of GPL, which is trademarks. So
Yeah.
if I call my plugin Miriam's awesome plugin, and someone
Mm.
like copies it and leaves the title, or let's say they don't leave the title, but in the code, all of the functions are called Miriam's awesome plugin, right? Then like that's actually trademark infringement.
Yeah.
And so that's a place
Mm.
where you can kind of take action. Um, yeah,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
But
So we also,
it's
yeah,
gray. These are gray areas, and I think also until things actually like get to the court level, which there have been some court cases around GPL and open source, but also even those court cases can be pretty specific. So then, how do we apply it? So it's like it's gray areas. So I think we all just need to do the best with the best intentions while
yes,
protecting the
yeah.
freedoms of GPL, while also protecting the innovation and creativity of people. Yeah.
Exactly. So many of them have their own sort of definition about GPL as well. So some of them say like, hey, this is GPL and we can do that. And some of them say that those who are those who are copying the code from GPL, like some other property, they said that it's GPL and it's allowed. And those who are get copied, they said that is not allowed. So they have their own definition. As we said that we can actually decide what is right and what is wrong. There is no black and white. But what we can say is like probably we need to deal with a lawyer. But as you said, in themes team, in plugins team, we have set of guidelines. So in themes team, actually, we never allowed someone to copy their entire code. Yeah, some of them can copy the function. Some of them can get inspiration. So we have some of the records that we had to like suspend our popular products as well from our like repository as well. So those who are watching this video on the name of GPL, please don't copy others' property. Make your own property and rule it. Okay, make your own island and rule it, because Elementor is not copied. Elementor is like developed by their own. So you don't need to copy the code. You can make your own and rule over the open source. Okay.
I will add that you can fork things
Yeah.
where you're actually adding value. The
Mm.
other angle that you can take is like in the world of Elementor, for example, you can create extensions and add-on plugins
Yeah.
and then have a way that you're creating value for other users when they're already using Elementor, and then you're not copying anything. You're innovating, right? And you're
Mm.
adding
Mm.
value. I think in the
Yeah,
end,
yeah.
add value.
There are so many Elementor add-ons in
So
WordPress
many,
repository,
so
and they are
many.
doing really great.
Yeah, some of them are very strong businesses in and of themselves, and it's amazing to see. We really value our add-on ecosystem.
I,
It's
I can
amazing
easily
to
give a
see.
lot of names. Essential add-on for Elementor. So master add-on for Elementor. So there are so many Elementor add-on,
Okay.
even I can.
And
And
we
they are,
encourage that. Go for it. Add
yeah,
value. Just
yeah,
don't copy.
add value. And it will beneficial for your user as well. It will be beneficial for your like business-wise as well. Is there any difference between open source and GPL?
Well, open source is like the broader term for an approach to open code. I would say that
Okay.
if you like distill open source down to what it means the code is open and accessible to everyone.
Mm,
And and then I guess you can manipulate it or do whatever you want with it, as opposed to proprietary code where you can't access it.
mm,
But then within open source, there's all these different flavors of what that allows. So like, okay, we start off with the basics, which is I can access the code. Okay, but then what can I do?
mm,
Can I copy it? Can I resell it? Can I rename it? Can I whatever, distribute
mm.
it, all that kind of stuff. And that's where, and if the big, like I mentioned, one of the big angles of GPL is that anything I develop for it, well, to a certain extent, I'm going to talk about that in my talk, is contagious, catches the GPL license or not, like in the case of MIT. So, so that's where the different flavors of the licenses come into play. But in the end, it means the code is open for everyone.
Yeah, exactly. So uh, we are on the open source uh, playground. We are like advocating about GPL. So what do you think that GPL and open source will take web development or web industry to the next level, or some of the other non-GPL industry will also come in the future and they can dominate the open source? What do you think? Is just a prediction?
I don't know if other open source licenses can reach the volume and scale of GPL in association with WordPress.
Mm,
I think WordPress's scale and success is a combination of like a number of factors. It's not just
mm,
GPL
mm,
um, that led it to be where it is. And then because it's GPL, then anything created for it also gets GPL. So you have this kind of like exponentially growing ecosystem that's hard to match.
yeah.
Um, so yeah, so I don't know if anything else will take over in terms of scale. I don't know, and I'm curious to know new things that are being created, like from scratch or
mm,
mostly from scratch, let's say, like that are associated with other projects. Is anyone actually choosing to use GPL for them?
mm,
My gut feeling based on absolutely nothing except for my gut is that most people will choose MIT
mm,
because it doesn't have that contagious element to it. Because when people invest so much in creating something, they want to know, like that to some extent it's theirs,
mm.
which is legitimate and human.
Yeah.
So I wonder,
Mm,
so WordPress has a scale that is growing just by virtue of its own nature, but new stuff, I don't know.
yeah, yeah. We need to wait and see because no one knows like AI is coming and blah blah blah. Okay, I
Yeah.
think I would like to ask one thing about Elementor, and then I have a set of other questions about WordCamp here. I think let me correct me if I'm wrong. So Elementor have three important part at the moment. One is Elementor, one is Elementor Cloud, and one is Elementor AI. So I think I can differentiate that in three parts. So which industry is taking Elementor to the next level from your point of view?
So
AI or cloud or the Elementor only?
your perspective is interesting, and I
Mm,
understand why you see it that way. So of course we have the Elementor page builder, which is
mm.
the heart and soul of
Yeah,
like,
cool. Yeah,
all of our
also,
activity.
yeah. Mm,
Yeah, and that's the most well-known product. And then we have our hosting,
mm,
which people are now more aware of
mm.
and is growing nicely. Then AI got a lot of attention because it's AI. Like everything with AI just gets attention, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not belittling our AI product. We have two actually. We have like the integrated AI in the page builder where you can like
Mm,
have
yeah.
text,
Mm,
CSS,
mm,
images, whatever. But now we have Site Planner, which recently launched, which like allows you to like create a brief with AI and then
mm,
it wireframes and the sitemap and all that. It's
mm,
quite cool, actually. I recommend
mm, mm,
checking it out, planner.elementor.com. Um, but actually, Elementor is going in the direction of a multi-product platform.
mm,
So we have also released um, a site mailer plugin and our image
mm,
optimizer plugin.
mm, yeah.
We're about to launch an accessibility plugin, actually. So stay
Mm,
tuned. That's coming
mm,
soon. And we have another product that's in beta called Send, which is like a marketing, like messaging platform that ties really nicely into WordPress and WordPress.
mm,
So, so Send is really new. Accessibility hasn't launched. And SiteMailer and Image Optimizer, actually, they're like going really nicely. I can't remember which one it is. Just reached 90,000 active installs. Like, but they're pretty new. So I understand why that's
yeah.
not catching people's
Yeah.
attention as much.
Mm,
Um, so the thinking behind that, well, to a certain extent, or at least in terms of like the industry or the focus that's going to lead to Elementor's growth, is the answer is a lot of things. Like we're diversifying
mm,
our product suite
mm,
to cover a lot of ground in the web creator's journey and answer a lot of needs, hopefully kind of like in one place, like through Elementor. Um, and I think what we'll see, so until now, the page builder has been the mass, used
mm,
product. We're
mm,
going to see more products used by less people, but
mm.
overall,
Yeah.
it means that like usage of Elementor products will grow because we're addressing like smaller segments than just
Mm,
the page builder.
mm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. You are making the entire empire in the web industry, I guess, because so
It's
many
less,
products like, yeah, yeah. So,
I
but
mean, I don't know if it's an empire, but the idea is to look Elementor was created by our founders who were themselves were web creators,
yeah.
right? They had an
Yeah,
agency
but
actually.
yeah,
Start.
we
So,
appreciate that. We
and
appreciate
so
that
they
because
like understand the web creator journey. Like it doesn't
mm,
just, it's not just build the website. It's before you build the website, planning it, build the website, manage the website,
mm,
market the website, communicate with your
mm,
users, all that kind of stuff, and optimize your website. Like,
yeah,
let's try to address that for users.
yeah, yeah. If we have a set of if we have a tools of like every perspective, then people still love WordPress. So if we are like lack in one of the angles in WordPress, probably people will find that loophole and like start saying that this. You might know that lots of people complain about like speed in Elementor website. Did you notice that, right?
Oh
But
yeah,
but
of course.
yeah, but what website want like slow itself. WordPress is not slow. The Elementor itself is not slow, but the activity that someone do in the website makes the website slow. And there are set of tools, set of ideas that we can make the website faster. Yes, because like 18 million plus active users are using Elementor, and how Elementor like can easily ignore that speed part and only focus on like features enhancing, right? So those who are saying that like WordPress website are slow, WordPress website are insecure, blah blah blah, they're just like trying to find the loopholes and like talking bad about WordPress. WordPress itself fast. WordPress itself secure, but the activity that you do in your website make it insecure and slow. So we can
Well,
easily make that.
I can just talk to performance. So, like 2 years ago, performance became a top priority for Elementor. And so, in almost every release, performance optimizations were part of it.
Hmm.
And that includes reducing the DOM, reducing files that are like called, packaging things more
Hmm.
in an optimized way, and things like that. And if you compare sites, we've seen like before, with every release, you'll see like a performance improvement in an Elementor site. Obviously, if there's other factors on the site that are impacting it, we can't do anything about it. Like if they're using plugins that are slow or are
Hmm.
on, let's say, low quality hosting, then that will just end up impacting it. But we made a ton of progress. And what's happening this year, one of our exciting projects is Elementor V4, we're calling
Hmm.
it, which is a completely revamped,
Hmm.
recoded page builder to optimize also for development workflows and also for the end user experience. And it's very exciting, and it will really like change how Elementor sites perform in many ways. So stay tuned for that.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, so we really feel proud to be in the WordPress community, in the WordPress ecosystem. So the bigger companies are coming up with a very innovative product, which is making the web easier for everyone. Even those who are able to spend money, or even those who are not able to buy products, they are still able to use that product with some limitation. We can understand that, but still they are able to use that, and that is making the web better, better, and better every day. So thank you so much for this type of products, this type of initiation, this type of contribution to the WordPress community, WordPress ecosystem. And with your contribution, with your with your product ideas, with your adding value to the open source, really drive us, and we are still seeing the greater future of WordPress ahead. That's why we are here. That's why we are talking about Go with WP. Otherwise, lots of people talk about different things, but we are still in the same arena. We are still in the same place that we see WordPress like 50, 60, 70% of the way in couple of years, in coming years. That's why we're here. And we are really, really positive because of the growth of the plugin that you have, the growth of the system that you are making. So uh, recently, I read a very good news about Hostinger. I think that is the third most popular web hosting platform globally. We can see like,
Yeah, it's amazing.
yeah. So Hostinger is
Very
not that like that like they are recently introduced in the web industry. They don't have a very long history in the industry, but they are still the third number, and they are one of the supporter of WordCamps, like flagship and local WordCamps as well. So we
totally.
really, really proud. Yeah.
They're very impressive. We at Elementor, we're here for WordPress. Like
Mm.
that's we're like
Mm.
WordPress is our future. It's the future. It's our
Mm.
future. So we're totally here for WordPress. And it's great to see companies like Hostinger and others that have like this type of skyrocketing growth, which
Mm.
shows in numbers the
Yeah.
confidence that people have in WordPress. And we also are, and I personally am confident in the future of WordPress. We've been expanding our sponsorships of WordCamps. So we were focused until last year, like until 2024, we were focused on the three flagship WordCamps in terms of
Mm.
sponsorship. In
Mm.
2024, we expanded and we sponsored
I
like
know.
I think like 12 more,
I
including
know.
having
Yeah.
our teams at those
Yeah.
conferences,
Yeah.
and particularly the ones in India and Bangladesh. we saw enthusiasm of people at the conferences coming, meeting Elementor, but just in general. They're like thirsty and hungry to learn about WordPress
You,
and
you know,
new amazing. So I'm
I
confident.
met one of your developer in couple of WordCamps in India in 2024.
Yeah,
He is very young and he's working as a developer in your company. And I gave like I call him like I was like talking with a group of people and I call him, hey, come here. And I introduce him to all other people who were standing there. And he was just 22 or something. And he's one of the developer in Elementor. And show him as an example. Hey, this young people is working as a developer in Elementor. Then you can see how bright future that you have, that we have in WordPress.
totally. I
So
think most of
so
our
working,
team, like
yeah.
the age of my children, like, it could be like, so
Do
many
you
of
have
them are
any
so young.
data about the average age of the team member that you have in Elementor?
No, I wish. I like that would be really interesting. I'm sure our
Yeah.
HR department has, but I would say we see you young, especially in the R&D team. Just I keep seeing the people that are joining, they're
Mm.
quite young.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean,
That that's why.
we,
So
we have our
I met
40s, 50 like people
yeah.
like that
So
age level, but there's a lot of young people.
yeah, most of them are young. Most of them are really dedicated to open source, and they always come to me while we met in our camps, and they always wanted to listen about like open source. Hello, I am in this industry. Did I choose because it is in the young age they have lots of options. Lots of people talk about like, hey, WordPress is just open source. WordPress is nothing. Like you need to learn Python. You need to learn this because in young age people like really like give them lots and lots of advice, but they never drive them in the right direction. So whenever I meet with people, I always try to give them the right direction and they are in the right direction because they are doing WordPress open source in 43.6% of the way. So that is what I meant to
Yeah,
say. Anyway.
scale is amazing. I think so the open source business model is a strange
Mm,
one because you're basically
mm,
like investing a lot of resources in creating free stuff, right? That people can then
yeah.
copy, right? So as we know, like it's very strange, but it works,
Yeah.
and you can see that with companies in the space. And
Mm,
I think it's actually one of the advantages when we're recruiting
mm,
because it's an interesting challenge.
mm,
Like you can go work in like a regular all companies are interesting, yeah, but
mm,
like another tech company that's like got proprietary code and like the business model is pretty standard, or you can come and experience this world of open source where it's like got its own challenges and opportunities. And I think in the end, we all want to work for a living. We have to work for
yeah.
a living. We also
Yeah.
want to feel motivated and inspired by what we do. And when you're
Mm,
creating something that impacts 18 million websites, however many users that is, all around the
mm,
world, and we
mm,
know people thank us continuously for creating a tool that allows them to support themselves and their families from wherever they are. That's inspiring. It makes you want to
yeah.
continue to work on that and deliver that to people,
Yeah.
give them the opportunity to support themselves, also create a thriving business for Elementor so that we can continue to be sustainable. By the way, speaking of
Yeah.
sustainability, you have
Mm,
to have a business that works.
yeah. Yeah.
It makes it
Yeah, that
appealing.
gives a like intense satisfaction as well. So when someone appreciate your product, when someone say that, hey, like I'm making living with the website that is built in Elementor or something like that. So I think being a leader in the community, being a leader of the big companies, I think that is what we need to deliver to the people. I think we need to show to the people, we need to show to the young generation that you are in the right track and you are doing great. So I really appreciate what you are doing. Okay, so being a woman, so uh, you are leading a big company with a big role. So what are the challenges that you have being a woman in the industry? Is the or if you don't feel challenged, like you can simply say that I don't feel any challenge because you can feel free to say. I would like to share one example that in one of the what camp in our area, so they really had hard time to find a female speaker. So they really had to convince their own organize the speaker. So we have that challenges, we have that problem. So being a woman, so how what are the benefits that you see in this tech industry, if there is any challenges? So opportunity and challenges both.
So it's not necessarily about WordPress because actually WordPress as an industry and ecosystem is very supportive of making sure that there are diverse voices that are visible.
Mm,
And caring about making sure that there's representation of different genders, different everything on stage as much as possible. And so I feel actually the first global WordCamp that I spoke at, I was very nervous about it because I was much younger. I was early in my career.
yeah.
I didn't feel like I was like, who am I to speak on stage?
So
It was
sometimes we feel that, am I really deserve to be in the stage and share the idea that I have in my mind? So we have that some of
right,
like
right.
insecurity within us. Yeah.
So, so I hadn't even thought of applying to speak. It was the first WordCamp Europe in Leiden.
Mm,
And Andrea Middleton, who was leading like the WordPress um, WordCamp or whatever, I can't remember what it's called like specifically, but she led that. She actually reached
mm,
out to me and she said, I'd like to encourage you to apply to speak at WordCamp Europe.
mm, mm,
I think you're like a voice that should be heard, and I think you have a lot to offer, whatever. And I was like, really? Okay. So I applied and
mm,
I went to WordCamp Europe, the first one, and I
nice.
spoke.
Mm,
It was like I think in some ways like a life-changing experience for me. It like set my career path in a different way. I got to meet key people in the industry. That was very exciting for me. I was like a fangirl of so many of them,
mm,
and I got to meet them there. Like behind, I always knew them through the screen, through our like screen
mm,
chats, whatever. And like now I got to
yeah.
meet them in person. But I needed someone to encourage me to take that step. And I mentioned I organized word camps in Israel, and we had such a hard time getting women to speak as well. In the last one that I organized, I actually like proactively reached out to women. I said, "Please, can you apply to speak? Please speak." And
Mm,
a lot of them would say, "What? Who am I?" Right? Like that kind of thing. So um, I did experience certain types of biases just in general, like let's say in my agency, I'm like a younger woman.
mm,
It's harder to get people to take you seriously. So you just have to keep working really hard and proving yourself more and more to the point where like people don't have a choice but to take you seriously
yeah.
because you've proven yourself.
Yeah.
I think in many cases, just because of biases and stereotypes, men are taken seriously earlier on
Mm,
and with less necessity of proving themselves first. I've seen that around me. These are
mm,
generalizations, but I know that I had to work much harder to prove myself. And now that I'm in the position that I'm in, I do whatever I can, wherever I can, to
mm,
take I don't even know what word to use, like my status, my
mm.
position, and the resources
Presence,
that are
presence, your presence.
to bring women. So
Mm,
when we go to word camps, I make sure we have as good as possible female representation on our team. And when there's the opportunities, let's say I know that there's a speaking opportunity, I will bring in a woman from our team to take
mm,
that opportunity um, wherever I can. I support women in Elementor as much as I can with their work to try to share my knowledge and resources, whatever I can with them.
mm,
Men as well, obviously, but like I'm very aware of it. And so I want to empower the women around me, whether
mm,
they're in the community, whether they're in the company or in the community, support them, encourage them, praise them, highlight them. Some of those things are smaller, some of them are bigger, but everything ends up having an impact. And I think if we all have that awareness, then we can make a difference in terms of women's
mm.
opportunities
Yeah.
because women bring, I mean,
Mm,
just all humans bring a lot to the table. So sometimes
yeah.
we need to make sure
Yeah.
that they're getting opportunities open up for them that otherwise they might not have. So that's something that I'm super aware of because I experienced it. And
Mm,
yeah, and I think we can all like do some of that.
yeah, exactly. So uh, if someone is not able to stand in front, but they really like uh, but deserve, or they are really capable, I think we sometimes we need to push it, so
Yes.
uh, if we are getting some like positivity, if we are seeing some of the like courage they have, probably we need to just like encourage them. Hey, you can do it. Hey, you can do it. After that, they will actually come up.
So actually
Okay,
in
so
Elementor, because I
I
lead,
think we talk a lot. So
oh, I just wanted to say this last thing. So
sorry.
because I lead our WordCamp presence now at Elementor, I started to encourage our team
Uh,
to apply to speak. Until now, it's just been me applying to speak.
mm,
And so actually at this upcoming WordCamp Asia, we're going to be three speakers from Elementor, which is exciting. Me about GPL and a workshop and a panel about AI. But some of the people who
mm,
applied to speak were obviously women, and they were questioning themselves. And I said, you have a lot to bring to the table. And I helped them craft their submission and we submitted it.
mm.
And Elementor offers a course on public speaking. Take the
Nice.
course, and I'm there all along the way to support them. I think it helps that they see me,
Mm,
not
yeah,
just them, in general.
yeah,
I
yeah,
get up on a
exactly.
lot of stages. I do podcasts
Yeah,
like this. Seeing
mm,
women do it, you can do it
yeah,
too. Let's
yeah.
do it.
Okay, so we think we talk almost 1 hour, but I have a couple of short questions about WordCamp Asia. So Elementor is one of the sponsor for WordCamp Asia this time as well. As you said before, you also like supporting a city level WordCamp too. That is really, really encouraging. Thank you so much for standing in that way. So what's your plan for WordCamp Asia this time? Like what the attendees can expect from Elementor? Is there anything that they need to be prepared before visiting the Elementor booth or something?
Okay, so I think it's going to be really fun and exciting what we have. So first of all, our booth, the design is new. It's a fresh new design. It represents the web creator's journey. Please come take a look at it. We're
Mm,
very, very excited about it. Um, we have a public Calendly link that I've been sharing. You can schedule meetings with anyone on our team. We have amazing people coming all across the board, executives
mm.
and product leads and R&D. Come talk to us. We want to meet you.
And they can
Uh,
speak multiple languages too.
and we speak many languages between us. Yes,
Yeah,
like really. I made sure to gather that information because I was like, okay, we all speak so many languages. Let's get that in there. So it's cool. We're like
yeah.
Turkish, German, French, Spanish,
Bengali, Turkey. I read your tweet, I guess.
so that's pretty cool. So we're going to be quite multilingual there. So
Yeah,
come
yeah.
check that out. We have three speakers, like I mentioned. We're all speaking on Friday. I'm speaking
Mm,
about GPL. My colleague Zeev, who has been in tons of Elementor videos and helped create and produce, he's giving a workshop on creating product marketing videos. It's going to be amazing. And Gabby from our team as well, she's going to be on a panel about AI. So three talks, check them out or check them out afterwards. We're going to do a solution spotlight. We're going to have 10 minutes to
mm.
present about a product. So we're going to be presenting about Site Planner. That will also be Gabby. Um, we are having a side event. We haven't publicized it
Oh,
yet because we're like finalizing the detail. I know you asked. It's been like hard getting everything signed and sealed.
mm, mm.
So I don't know if I should exactly say, but it will be Thursday evening. We're going to add it to the side event page very soon. And then please, people should sign up. I think it will be fun. It's at a really cool space. So we're having
Yeah.
that.
Lots
Uh,
of people expect that as well.
yeah, so I
Mm,
like to make sure that we have like a side event as much as possible. And so here we will as well. And our
nice.
parties tend to be pretty fun. So it's worth coming.
Yeah.
And then we're going to have like cool swag.
Mm,
In addition, we're gonna have like this special swag. It's these amazing beach towels that people love.
mm,
But to get it, you have to just post about us. So come get that. It's limited amount, so if you want it, come soon, like pretty early on to get
mm.
that. We're gonna have a raffle, and might be missing something, but like, yeah, that's a lot
Yeah,
of what
exactly.
it's
So,
gonna be.
so the good thing is that you have chance to meet with amazing people from Elementor, from CTO
Totally.
to other like support specialist, like tech guy from Elementor. And if you are dealing with any issue with the Elementor, then you can talk with the real people that you can like
Exactly.
share
That's what
your
we're there
problem.
for. We
Yeah.
want to hear from you. We want to help you, but we also, if you have requests or ideas about how we can improve things, we want to
Mm.
hear. So come talk to us. We want to meet you.
Yeah, exactly. That is the benefit of attending the flagship events, because in the city level WordCamps we can't actually have that type of people represent the company from the like top level management. But in flagship you have that opportunity that you can go talk, you can also show your problem, and they will probably figure it
Totally.
out. Hey, yeah.
Exactly. Our team at these events sits with people and helps
uh,
them troubleshoot issues and gives them ideas. So you
yeah.
have access to our team. They're brilliant experts. Like, take advantage of it. Come visit us.
Okay. So thank you so much for your time. So we talked a lot about WordPress contribution, GPL, and WordCamp Asia. So before wrapping up, do you have anything to share with our viewers that they are watching at the moment?
Um, well, we're going to have a community corner at
Mm,
WordCamp Asia,
nice.
which will highlight our various communities that you can join. So
Mm,
because it's hard, it can be hard to keep track of what we're doing. Like, there's a lot of
mm,
stuff happening.
mm,
And I highly recommend joining. We have Facebook, Discord. We have a developer update communication loop now, which is really good for people who
mm,
are developing with or for Elementor to know about important things that are coming up or being changed. I highly, highly recommend getting into one or more of those communities or communication loops so that you're like up to speed on what's coming next. And you can be in touch with us that way as well. So yeah, so join our communities.
mm. Yeah, yeah. So I think I'm really, really excited. So I'm flying to Manila this Friday. So that I can utilize my weekend as well. So instead of
That's
flying
good.
on Monday, Tuesday, I decided to fly after this week, so that I can utilize 2 days at least on my travel, so that my travel will be shorter one. So I'm really, really excited to meet you and your team in WordCamp Asia. So probably we can talk a lot about other stuffs as well. So those who are watching, and if you haven't bought the tickets yet, but if you are still wanted to attend WordCamp Asia, so these amazing people are attending WordCamp Asia. You can buy the tickets at the moment, and you can attend the events. You can have like lots of side events. You can have lots of swags, meet amazing people. You can share knowledge. You can network with people as well. So thank you so much for your time, and we love to catch up with you again in another session. Thank you.
Thank you.